Hello and welcome to the Transcend and Succeed podcast, a unique platform dedicated to the exploration of taboo topics that often go unspoken in the realms of spiritual development and personal experience. I'm your host, Dawn Livingston, and I want to provide you with knowledge to help you change your perception and open your mind to new possibilities and new opportunities for spiritual expansion, personal growth, and profound transformation. In a world where certain subjects are often shrouded in silence, I believe in fostering candid and open discussions about the uncharted territories of our inner worlds. My guests will have had extraordinary experiences and will share their insights and journeys, inviting you to embrace the unexplored aspects of your own existence, both physical and non-physical. Join us on this illuminating and enlightening journey as we challenge taboos and empower you to transcend limitations and truly succeed in your spiritual and personal evolution. Welcome to the Transcend and Succeed podcast. And on this episode, I have the lovely Tracy Jay Thomas with us. And we are going to discuss another controversial and taboo topic of reincarnation and past lives. Now, Tracy and I are friends. We've been friends for, a couple of months now. Tracy is someone else that I met through my TV show, and we really clicked. And we've been keeping in touch and talking regularly. And I asked her if she'd come on and talk, and she was happy to do so. So thank you, Tracy. It's lovely to see you.
You're welcome. I love being here. Thank you.
You're so welcome. So welcome. So tell us about what it is that you do. Reincarnation and past lives. That's something that's really not very well received out, publicly, is it? I think there's a lot of people that are not 100% on board with that. So I'd love to hear your perspective.
Well, for me, from my perspective, I've been aware of past lives since I was a very young preteen. And so finally, it seems that people are becoming a little bit more, compared to back then, they are much more open to it. It was very taboo to speak about any of this stuff back when I was in my teens. So, first you have to have some concept of reincarnation, and people, I think, because of the media, because of there's lots of television shows talking about near-death experiences or these kinds of things. I think people are realizing there is another world on the other side of this physical body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I am a past life regressionist. I'm a hypnotist, and I take people into past lives to help them resolve trauma. Usually, in every case, people carry trauma in their in the cells of this body from past lives. So, and by visiting those past lives, we can begin to resolve and dissolve those issues.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I've had a few past life regressions, as you
Haven't
know. Yes, I have. And I think, with me being so used to connecting, it just flows really freely, doesn't it? It just flows really, really freely.
Well, it does for
And
you.
yeah, for me, because I'm used to connecting, and I can do it pretty quick. But for somebody that's a newbie, that you say you have a new client that's never tried this before and isn't used to connecting with their higher self or spirit or creator, whatever you want to call it, how long typically does it take for them to experience, the kind of memory recall of one past life? Can they do it
Well,
pretty
that's a
quick?
very good question. That's a very good question. It depends on how left-brained they are. The people who are more creative, if they allow thoughts to flow, if they have a good imagination, because really reaching your past lives is not an analytical thing. It's a right brain thing, which rules, creativity and imagination. So if they understand that they should not be in a place of judgment, that's very left brain, right? Judgment and criticism. And many of us have negative self-talk. So they call things that many of my people say, it was so weird When they say stuff like that, they're judging it and it shuts it down. So they have to allow and flow, you know? And so those kinds of people have an experience very quickly.
Gotta go
You
with the
know,
flow.
many people afterwards say, "Oh, I think I made it all up." But everyone thinks like that at first, you know, and then as you begin to trust it. So really, for someone to begin to speak to their guides, angels, higher self, it's a matter of how quickly they're able to trust what they're getting. And because, you know, the spirit world communicates in pictures, those pictures, they come from your imagination. So, you know, the more you can trust it, the pictures, the more you can trust the imagination, the faster it'll come to you. Really, that's about it.
Yeah, because the pictures when they come in, whether they're excuse me, whether it's a still picture or it's like a motion picture, you know, it's you're
Mm-hmm.
seeing that with your third eye. That's out with your physical senses. So
Mm-hmm.
I suppose people consider that to be, you know, taboo or not right. They don't know where it's come from, and I know that there's been in my experience, you know, growing up, there's a lot of people that don't agree with past lives. They don't even agree with life after death. You know, once this lifetime is over, that's it. You're dead. There's nothing else. And I've always felt that that was a total waste. You think, well, somebody's only
Sad
here
though.
for, X number of years and then they die. I mean, what is that accomplishing? It's not accomplishing anything. So I've always thought that there was definitely something. Um, and I think, you know, my experiences over this last while have really, you know, concreted that. Because well, I'll be talking about it in other podcasts, but I totally believe in life after death. And
Mm-hmm.
now, at the moment, in this lifetime, I believe in multiple lives as well,
Mm-hmm.
not just past lives. I think that's more of a kind of linear time construct, isn't it? Like past lives.
That's what I was
It,
going to say.
yeah, please.
It's a brain, it's a brain challenge to think about all of these past lives taking place in this now, like right now. So if you picture an oscillating fan, you know, you put a fan on your desk, right? And it's going to blow cool air at you. And you've got the low speed, the medium speed, the high speed. At at the low speed, you can see the blades of the fan, right? And
Yeah.
then medium speed, you can see a little bit of the blades, but it's kind of fuzzy. And on high speed, you can't see anything. That's how these frequencies all exist in one place, in one time.
Hmm.
That's how all these lifetimes exist together in the now. It just think about it as being the soul saying, okay, I want to, like a kid in a candy shop, I want to experience this and that and that and that and that and that and that and add some of that and I'll have some of that. It's like your eyes are bigger than your stomach and the soul just goes out there, poof, and
Hmm.
creates 100 lives, all different environments, different color skin, different races, different, you know, and that's how I see it. And I think it's so exciting. But, you know, for the people who don't believe in something past this, that's what they're going to get when they get to the other side. They're going to get
Hmm.
stuck because they don't have the belief system that there is something more. And, you know, God don't create no junk. And how come a house or a castle built with man's hands outlives the man?
Hmm.
Well, it doesn't. That was always my conundrum as a kid. Like, you know, and then again, they say that in biblical days, people live to be 800 years old.
Wow.
And, you know, so for me, there's a lot of unknowns. Yeah. But I see that life is a continuum. If you watch
Hmm.
anything about, you've seen the people on shows that have NDEs, near death experiences?
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
listen to any of those interviews, and those people are, this is what happened. I was with God. I was with Jesus. I was. So until you have your own experience, I guess
Yeah.
you don't know.
Well, that's very true because your own experience, that's what cements in that knowing, that's the wisdom, isn't it? It's, yeah, you've got an awareness of something like that, but you don't truly know until you've experienced it yourself.
I think the most important thing, Dawn, is that we hold back the judgment. If we can say, instead of, oh, there's no way, if we can say, well, that's interesting. I'm just going to put that on the back burner here
Yeah.
and just let it simmer away and see what happens. I think that's when you begin to get synchronicities. That's when you begin to get confirmations, when you don't judge it, when you just allow,
Yeah. hmm
right?
Yeah. And
That's the magic
acceptance
word.
that there could be something different to what you currently believe, because most of
Exactly.
us are of the opinion that what you believe is true. But that, I mean, that is true for you, but it
Mhm,
doesn't allow the existence of anything else. So there's no
mhm,
thinking out the box. So I think the first step to something different is awareness of other possibilities.
mhm. No non-judgment. Oh, that's
Yeah.
interesting, and just allow
hmm
it to simmer. And as is your belief, so it shall be done unto you, right?
hmm Yeah. What you believe
So
is your truth.
what you believe is.
Mhm.
There's so many phrases around this, um, I forget what it is. If you can conceive it, if you can believe it, and if you can conceive it and believe it, you can achieve it. There's another one.
Uh-huh.
So,
Mhm.
you know, it's all about belief. And
Yeah.
and really, if you think about it, powers that be know about belief, don't they?
Yeah, they
Because on
sure do.
television, mainstream television, that's what they want you to do. That's what they do. They control what they want you to believe.
Yes, they do. Mhm.
So,
A method of conditioning.
yes, it is. We want you
Yeah.
to believe this, and this is what they tell you
Yeah.
over and over and over again.
Over and over. Yeah.
Yeah. Because reality is in here. It's not
Yes.
out there. A lot of people don't understand that.
Yeah.
We
Well,
create our own
what's in
reality.
here is replayed outside.
That's right.
It's created
Right.
on the outside. So what we believe, we create.
That's right. It's a reflection. Our environment is a reflection of our belief system. There you go.
Yes, yes, that's
Exactly.
very true.
So, what I wanted to talk with you about, though, is you hear a lot of talk about healing ancestral wounds, ancestral traumas.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk with your viewers about this because we have cellular memory.
Mhm.
And our cells carry the trauma from not only from our past lives, but whether you believe in reincarnation or not, our cells are carrying trauma from our parents' past lives, from our parents' lives, from our
Mhm.
grandparents' lives, from our great grandparents' lives, and on down the road. And this is something that I think is very, very fascinating because I don't know if you've heard this, but the older you wait to have children, the more intelligent the children are, and there are studies on this. And
Wow.
so why is it? Why is it? That's because all of the wisdom that you've gained up until you're 35 or 40, whenever you have that child, is translated into your DNA. But so are the traumas you've experienced. So when that child is gestating in the womb, that child's getting, father's DNA, mother's DNA. So you put that together, and don't forget, father's DNA has his mother and father's DNA. So
Yeah.
all of that trauma comes through to this infant. And then, of course, the soul imprints on the fetus as well to create the reality that that soul is expecting to have to overcome its challenges. It's
Yeah.
a whole very fascinating process.
It is. It is. It's hard to think about, isn't it? Because recently I have discovered that if you go back 9 generations, you are carrying the vibrations and the beliefs of over 2,000 lifetimes or 2,000 lives.
Yeah, can
2,000
you
just in
imagine?
8 generations. I mean, that's,
That's That is
yeah,
that's so
2,000.
fascinating when you think about
Mhm,
it.
mhm.
And
It just goes by
when
so quick.
children, yeah, but
Mm,
when children are tiny, like tiny infants, and they seem to have a personality already. You think that It's quite extraordinary when you see a baby
Yeah.
who looks at you like, I know you. My niece was like that. She looked
Yeah.
up into my mother's eyes and was like, "What the hell am I doing here?"
What was I
And it was just
thinking?
that's right. So it's fascinating, and you know now where that comes from. That's the soul's impression of the frequency on the body. That's all of those, the genetic background of those 2,000 people you're talking about.
Yeah.
So the other interesting thing is, I've had past lives in Greece and past lives in Austria and past lives in Africa. And so you think like right now I've got heritage that's Greek. And so you actually wonder, is that Greek lifetime that I had, is that tied in somehow? Those 2,000, you know, lives ago, is that somehow tied in with this lifetime? These genetics, right? Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can't even think about that at the moment.
It's big. And then again, you've had off-worlder um
Yeah. Well,
lifetimes,
that
and
was
they
that was
say
sure, carry on.
they say that the human body is made of 20, I think it's 22 um extraterrestrial species contributed their DNA to create this planet. Our physical bodies as human beings have genetics from 22 different races in them. And so
Goodness, humans
then,
are Heinz 22.
that's right, Heinz 57s, well, half of that, I guess. So yeah, so you have to wonder, maybe your ancestral DNA in terms of your Taigetan lifetime
Mhm.
is somehow in your genetics today.
I know. Well, I think that probably is the case. That seems more and more feasible the more, we go into this. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think one of the past life regressions for me, I think cemented something, that inner knowing. Remember me explaining to you, I just don't feel like I belong here.
Yeah.
For decades, I have just not felt I belonged. I wasn't sure if it was I didn't belong in my home country or I needed to be somewhere else. I've always been seeking to move and I don't know why.
Mhm,
But over the last, I would say 15, maybe 20 years, I've felt that I've not belonged here
mhm,
on this planet.
mhm.
I just felt like I haven't belonged and I shouldn't be here. And I just had this longing to be somewhere else. And that past life regression, before I say about that, I've always had like an affinity for Pleiades. Looking at M45, I can locate it just like that in the sky at certain times of the year, obviously. But I've always been able to locate it, and it just fascinates me. I don't know
Wow,
why, or I didn't know why, but now I do,
that's right.
because I had a lifetime on Taygeta in the
Mhm,
Pleiades system and was so happy there.
mhm.
Everything was, there was no violence, there was no politics, there was nothing,
There was
to
love,
upset. Yeah, so
right?
much love. It was just all love, and it was all encouragement,
Respect.
and happiness, total respect. Yeah,
Mhm,
and
mhm,
acceptance of my choices as
mhm,
well, which
mhm.
also rang a bell. But
Yeah.
I'm quite sure that's maybe one of the reasons why people all come to you for help with a past life regression, because it can help them more of an understanding about who they
Mhm,
are.
mhm, mhm. Well, yes, but the thing is, people don't realize, like for you, it was fascinating because it came up straight away, like
Mhm.
straight away. So this is like a long-standing um, issue for you. This feeling that you don't belong here.
Yep.
You can trace that right back probably to childhood. What the hell am I doing here? What am I doing here? This is not my home. But it depends on how on people. Sometimes it takes a series, and more often than not, it takes a series of past lives to
Yep.
begin to piece it all together. This is where I get my proclivity for this, and this is how I get. Once you you understand you've had this past life and that past life, and you thoroughly look at them, like so many past life regressionists will just bounce you from one life to the next life to the next life. to this one, to that one. And really, I like to get an understanding of the character of that person. So it takes some time,
Hmm.
to go from this scene to this scene to this scene to this scene within one life. And it's
Yeah.
very, very effective, because afterwards, when you are, you know, piecing it all together, and you're merging that lifetime as you, male or female, white or black or any other race. We're all
Hmm.
human race, by the way.
Yeah.
Um, you begin to reconcile the two, and you start saying, like, that's how come I really love the US, or that's how come I really feel drawn to Italy, or that's why I love pasta, or you start to put these things together, and it's a process. It's a process, and it takes time.
Hmm.
But it's an exciting thing to do with
Yeah,
people,
it is. And
because
look at all
it
the
shoots them up.
lifetimes we had. It's not something that we can, we can pull on in 5 minutes.
Hmm.
It's something that is going to take some time if we've had X number or, of concurrent lifetimes. It's not something that's going to be, done and dusted really, really quickly in one session. I totally get that.
Yeah, there's a lot of trauma that
Hmm.
we're holding, and it's that kind of stuff that's preventing us from loving ourselves, from feeling our self-worth,
Hmm.
from appreciating how wondrous we are as human beings, how wondrous we are as individuals. Of course, we're all connected and we're all one,
Yeah.
right? But it's only once you start to realize and love yourself, and be kind to yourself, and drop the self-criticism and the judgment. Because when you realize we've been all things, when you realize we've been all people, you know, then you can, and when you can love yourself in spite of knowing that, then you can really love others, because they're all reflections of yourself.
Of
They've
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it does start with yourself, though, doesn't it? I know you and I are of the same opinion here. It's all about loving
Yeah.
yourself. It's nurturing the natural essence, your soul, basically,
Mhm.
because we're
Mhm.
guided in this lifetime, in all lifetimes, about, from society. This is what we
Mhm.
should do. This is what we shouldn't do. This is what we should say. This is what we shouldn't say. And we're steered. We're not allowed time and space to actually see how,
Mhm.
see which direction that we go in naturally.
Mhm.
It's not that.
Mhm.
And our soul is the pure thing that gets, left aside.
Mhm.
And we don't take care of our inner child, your
Mhm.
soul, your natural essence, whatever you want to call it. But we don't look after ourselves properly, in
We've
from the
not been taught.
inside.
We've
Say
not
again?
been taught. We've
No,
not been
that's true.
taught.
Yeah, yeah,
And so,
absolutely.
as children, we only learn what we see happen. If
Yeah.
you don't see your parents draw the line, if you don't, with other people, not with you necessarily, but if you don't see your parents standing up for themselves, if you don't see them honoring themselves, if you don't see them loving themselves, nurturing themselves, then you don't learn to either.
That's true. Particularly as a young child, before
Yes,
8 years old. Yeah, subconscious
that's right.
mind wide open in
Hmm.
this lifetime, and whatever, it's like a sponge. Subconscious mind soaks in absolutely everything.
That's
So
right. That's
whether,
right.
whatever they see, they hear, they witness becomes their truth. They absorb that vibration and that's what they
Mhm.
emanate for the rest of their lives until they manage to isolate it and able to change it and remove and dissolve the vibration of whatever it is that's keeping them
Mhm.
stuck. Because basically that's what's going to happen, isn't it? It's going to grind you to a halt. It's going to grind you to a halt until you can, well, maybe not to a halt, but it's really going to slow you down. It's going to start
Well, it
dragging you
depends.
backwards.
First, they give you a little message, and if you don't listen, then they give you a little stronger message. And then if you still don't listen, they give you a really strong message. And if you're still not listening, they clunk you on the head,
Yeah.
and you break your leg. You have a car accident. That's how it goes. It's
Oh,
time
that's
to.
exactly what happened to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
And my accident where I hurt my back, absolutely. And that was to stop me in my tracks so that I would look at my life and have time to think about what wasn't right in it. Because I knew there was something not right. But
Wow.
it took me, I was so stubborn. I didn't realize it. but I was so stubborn and not addressing all the little things that were getting thrown at me. And then it's, boom, there you go. Now you'll have to think about it.
Yeah.
And my God, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is what I was referring to when I was saying, oh darn, the thought went right out of my head.
Oh, that's okay. Welcome to my world. Happens all the time.
You know what? This is why I cut people off, because I just don't hold it. Like, my brain is going so fast, this thought, that thought, and I don't hold it, and then it's gone. Anyway.
It's okay.
Yeah, so this is how our guides are communicating with us, and when we don't listen. Oh, so this is what I was going to say. When we say, oh, that's interesting, we're not being stubborn. We're not buying it 100%. We're not being a pushover, right? We're just allowing it.
You're open.
Oh, that's interesting. So when they do that little thing in your head and they say, oh, whatever, you better take a look at this. Yeah. You better take a look at this. Yeah. Later. Whammo, you get the car accident. If you had said, yes, I will. That's interesting. I'll think about it later, but it's back here now. If you don't judge it, is my point.
Yeah. That's a seed that's planted, isn't it? Yeah.
The seed is planted, and somehow it starts to open a little bit more. So, yeah.
So you'll water it and think about it more, and then the shoot comes. And then you've got a different, Yeah. Because you're open to it and you've accepted different possibilities. Yeah. You're not still stuck in that box that you've had a label slapped on for most of your life. It makes such a difference. Just being open and aware and looking, actively looking to have different possibilities and opportunities.
Instead of just boom, shutting it down. When you do that, I have a girlfriend whose mother always said, I don't want to hear you girls. I don't want to hear you girls. She had 3 girls and a son. My girlfriend had like 2 sisters and a brother. So guess what? She's deaf now. I don't want to hear you. I don't want to hear you. Don't talk to me. I don't want to hear you. That mother is now completely deaf in one ear and almost like 20% maybe in the other ear.
Yeah.
So she cut herself off.
Your words.
She doesn't want to consider something. She didn't want to listen. She didn't even want to say that's interesting. And her body responded. They say you have to be very careful about what you say around your body because it's listening.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, you're making me sick. Your body's listening. That's a pain in the ass. Well, your body's
there you
listening.
go. Have a pain in the ass.
That's right. Yep. Very, very true.
And words are very, very important. They're like spells. Words are spells. They are powerful enough to heal you, but they're also powerful enough to make you really sick. So it's entirely up to you what you think and say about yourself. It's very important.
And they're very cutting too.
Yes.
They can, they say that when you hit your life review, once you pass, and if you watch some of these NDE shows, I think it's fascinating because many times they have they talk about life review, and the life review is where you see your life as yourself, as the person you're interacting with, and you're seeing it as the observer. And so you feel the feelings of the other person when you've been sharp with them, or when you have said something mean to them, or when you've not treated them right. You feel their feelings. And I think that's going to be pretty rotten to experience, to re-experience, because then you realize how impactful your words are.
Yes. Yeah. I know something when you look back at your own life, this current life, sometimes you think, oh, why did I say that? Why did I act like that? But don't get too caught up in it. You don't let the guilt come in and grab you, because we're learning. We're all learning. It's all an experience. This is school. This is, earth school, if you like.
It's true.
And we've got to learn from things like that. Yeah.
The
whole point of it. Yes. The whole point is, as you say, to go forth and be kind. But to
Yeah.
realize that you have actually changed is quite a big thing. Mhm.
Hmm. And the other thing, is to smile at people and engage people. The checkout girl, we always try to make her laugh. My husband and I, when we're going through the grocery store, or, just to leave people on a happy note, it can make a world of difference for
I
their
know.
lives as well.
It does.
So it's all about love, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
just love.
Yeah. I
But start
walked
with yourself.
past somebody in the grocery store just a few weeks ago. I was walking briskly along the back of the store. I was trying to get to the yogurts, and there's this woman walking towards me, a very very petite woman, beautiful beautiful black skin. I mean, flawless black skin.
Hmm.
And she had, I mean, her hair was absolutely immaculate, and she had on this really beautiful shade of purple, this like a two-piece suit she was wearing, and it was stunning on her, and it just perfectly matched her skin. I couldn't help myself, but by walking past it, I said, "Beautiful color on you, by the way." And her whole face just, "Thank you," totally lit up, and it made
Yep.
me all goosebumps because I had given somebody a compliment and she really liked it. But yeah,
Exactly.
I was like, "That's my favorite color. I love that color. It's
Yep.
beautiful."
Imperial
Yeah,
purple.
yeah. uh,
Nice.
it was gorgeous. It's always nice because there's on the odd occasion there's been somebody past me saying, "Oh, I like those shoes. They're really nice shoes." Well, thanks very much. It's always nice
Hmm.
to get. So if you want to get more, you give more.
Hmm. It's true.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. So I love what I do.
Yeah.
Eh,
Yeah, you're doing a
I
lot. You're doing a lot. I wanted to mention actually because you have a mastermind group that you have. This is it every 2 weeks or is it twice a month?
Well, this month it'll be 3 times.
Okay, so it's every 2 weeks then. Yeah. So you
Yes.
have this
Yeah.
this group which I'm part of, and thoroughly
Yes.
enjoying it. And you take us through meditations and past life regressions that we do that are opening us up to other lifetimes, to the memory coming in of these other lifetime. And it's been really fascinating. Your guided
Thank you. I'm
meditations too. Yeah, and
I'm glad you're loving it.
I am thoroughly enjoying it. I mean, I think was that the third time now? I think the third
Yes.
time.
Yes,
But
but people
yeah,
can start anytime because
yeah,
all the sessions are recorded, and I break them into three sections so that we have a pre-session chat and a post-session chat, and then of course a
yeah,
session in the center in the middle, which is usually this is a group past life regression, or what did we do yesterday? We did a oh we did a meditation to reach into the ethers, to the spiritual realm. That was interesting. So yeah, it's all about clearing the cellular memories so that we can open our channel up to communicate with our
yeah.
spirit guides, angels. Yeah,
Mhm.
but you have to do it. It takes commitment. It takes effort. It takes practice.
Practice, it's like everything else, isn't it? Practice, practice, practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And
what I like about it is that anybody can join. It's not very expensive at all.
mhm,
And I think it's loaded with value. Every other week, I send out a bonus,
mhm.
either a recording or hypnosis recording. So I think there's a lot of value there, and
There is
anybody
a
can
lot of
do it.
value. I can guarantee that, guarantee that. And I'll anybody interested, I'll put the description and the web link underneath the video or the podcast. It'll be there so that
Great.
people know
Thank
where
you.
to find you, where to find you. But yeah, it's been very, very interesting. Very
Thank
interesting.
you. We kind of got off topic there, but
Oh, we did just that last little bit. Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else you want to tell people to help them with past life regression and their
well,
understanding of it?
yeah, if they go to my website, they might be able
Mhm.
to win a past life regression because every month I choose somebody, and I do from whoever signed up that month, I choose one to win a past life regression. So that's a neat thing. And sure,
Nice. Giving
yeah.
back, Tracy. Yeah.
Well, it's fun. I love what I do, and I'm passionate about it. They say if you would do what you do for no money at all, would you still do it? And I
Uh-huh.
would.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a bit the
It's
same. I must admit. I thoroughly enjoy it.
yeah, yeah. Of course,
Yeah.
reality kicks in, and we have bills to pay. So unfortunately,
I know. I know. Isn't
you know,
that a real bummer? Seriously, a real
it is.
bummer. I
It
mean, some
is.
of my past lives, there's no such thing as money, and that's the way it should be. It
Yes,
definitely is the way it should
exactly.
be. Yeah, everybody was
I
so
did.
much happier. It's all just get rid of money.
Right. Well, you see, it's money keeps us enslaved. What I was going to
Oh
say
yeah.
is I had a future life with one fellow who went ahead about 25 to 30 years, and we all had these like personal like cars, but for the air. What do they call them? Vertical landing and takeoff vehicles,
All right.
spaceships, small
Okay.
shuttlecraft,
Little
and
crafts.
that was that's on my YouTube channel. So it was very fascinating. Um, he said all people were shopping and their purchases, those little white little paper bags with little, cloth handles or rope handles, they're floating behind them as they walk down the street. And everybody was in fine spirits. Yeah, it was very, very interesting future life.
Hmm. Oh, I
So I
can
hope that's
imagine
where we're
some great
going.
stuff in the future. Yeah, well, I'm sure it is. If we all imagine the same thing or roughly the same thing, yeah, we'll get there a
Mhm.
lot faster. Yeah.
We'll
The
create that reality.
collective consciousness has to create
Mhm.
it. Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Oh, sweetheart, I've had a great conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thoroughly enjoyed it. Okay. So thank you to the viewers and to the listeners, and we will catch you next time. Oh, you want to say something?
Just want to tell people my website is
Yeah.
visitapastlife.com.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. No problem. Take care,
Very good.
everybody. See you next time. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye, Dawn.
Bye. Thank you so much for your time and attention today. If you found this discussion engaging, show your love by liking and subscribing. Don't keep it a secret, tell your friends. Join us next week for more daring conversations on taboo topics that need to be explored. So until then, be safe, have fun, and keep expanding.